Hey everyone, I'm Jay.
And I'm Sean.
And we watched a movie.
Yes, we did.
So, a brand new release on Disney Plus called The One and Only Ivan. It's sort of a hybrid live action and animated film, only in that it takes place on a circus. So, the humans in the circus are humans and the animals are mostly CG.
Yeah.
I hope they are because they sure do a lot of tricks and a fair amount of talking. So, seems like
it fits. Yes.
So, we've been anticipating this one. Of course, it was intended for a theatrical release, and due to COVID-19, never got one. So Disney put it straight to their new streaming service, Disney Plus. So that is available if you have a subscription. So the ringleader Mack is played by Bryan Cranston, and he has the world's smallest big top, I think he calls it, inside of a shopping mall. So this is the Big Top Mall and Video Arcade at Exit 8. So if you get tired of shopping, you can drop in on a performance starring lots of great animals, including a wonderful old elephant named Stella, voiced by Angelina Jolie. Bob the stray dog, who's not supposed to be there. Don't tell anyone you saw him or he'll get kicked out, voiced by DeVito. Snickers the poodle, who is a show dog. She's quite haughty about it. She works a lot with Stella. She's voiced by Helen Mirren. Henrietta, the baseball-playing chicken. This was such a sight to behold, Sean had to rewind it so I could see it again, because no, I've never seen a chicken who could outplay me at baseball.
I'd say most people haven't.
Yeah, so voiced by Chaka Khan. And the headliner of the show, you may have guessed by the title, it is the one, the only, Ivan the silverback gorilla, voiced by Sam Rockwell, who we know to be a very gentle soul and sort of a fatherly figure to the other animals. But he plays a menacing, growling, chest-beating gorilla for the show. So he's the only one who doesn't have to do tricks, because just being his natural charming self is enough. Although, maybe it's not enough, because sales are declining. People are not shopping at the mall, and they are not lining up to see the circus. So they're barely making enough to feed the animals that are in the circus, which is a scary circumstance. So ringleader Mack has the somewhat brilliant idea of getting a baby elephant to join the circus, little Ruby, voiced by Brooklynn Prince. She was the breakout star of the Florida Project a few years back.
Yep.
So she still had her cute little girl voice, and Ruby the elephant, baby elephant. Do you really need a bigger draw than that? Certainly it does increase a lot of interest in the circus and in baby Ruby merchandise. But even that's not really enough to save the circus. So what are they going to do?
Close it down.
Well, they may have to. Except for there's a little girl who, after school, spends a lot of time just watching the animals. Her dad is a caretaker there. So little Julia, played by Ariana Greenblatt, is a bit of an artist, and she likes to draw all of the animals and their alter egos. And one day she gives crayons to Ivan. And it turns out that a gorilla who can make art is an even bigger draw than a baby elephant.
Okay, I can see that.
Yes.
I did see that.
You did. But the sort of sad thing is that his art is really the only way he has to speak to humans, and his art makes people sad because he keeps depicting a home he hasn't seen in many, many years. So this movie is based on a children's novel written by Katherine Applegate. And she wrote the story based on a true story of a gorilla named Ivan who lived in captivity at a mall for 27 years. Never saw the outdoors in 27 years in Tacoma, Washington. So obviously that's a story that kind of makes anyone sad, even if seeing him maybe delighted children at the time. Once people really think about, kidnapping a baby from his home, removing it from everything he knows, and then depriving it of even life's simplest pleasures, it's kind of a heartbreaker. So this movie kind of is a little bit about what we owe these animals and how we can make amends to these animals, and the sorts of things that might stir up some advocacy, I guess, some protest. How did you enjoy the movie, Sean? You've been very quiet.
I have been. We've been doing a good synopsis.
Okay.
I enjoyed it. It's with Disney releasing these movies straight to Disney Plus, they've had a pretty good run of them, and I think that's good for them for doing that, because every month we've gotten at least one of these. It looks like a movie that you would see at the theater, only you're just watching it at your house. I do think it's good the way that it sort of reflects how we've changed our thoughts about having animals in captivity. It's not a good thing. And we used to go to the circus and look at them, and when you think about it, it's not a good life for them. And this is that in a nutshell, in kid form. And I think it is good in getting that message across. I like all the animals and don't want to see them be sad, and as you said, Ivan is communicating through his art that he doesn't want to be there. He wants to be free. And who can blame him? You can understand why he would want that.
Well, I feel like he wasn't even in the movie. In the movie, we ascribe some motivations to his work. And in the movie, he's not even really doing it for himself, because he's been in captivity so long, he doesn't even really remember home. But he's doing it for baby Ruby, because he sees what kind of life she's going to have. And not that it's a bad one, they're not mistreated, they don't make a villain out of Mack. I think the really kind of cool thing about this movie is that it puts the agency in a little girl's hands, and there is a reason we should listen to kids, because they don't have a filter, so they can really tell it like it is, and she is the first to recognize the sadness of the situation.
Yes, she is. That's a good point. It is her plus the animals that are really making these things happen.
So I think it's kind of nice in a kid's movie to make the kid the driving protagonist, and that she, there's not a lot of power kids have, but she does use what she has, and she makes it work.
She does.
So I really enjoyed this movie. I'm glad I enjoyed it, but I thought it was really good. It's great family-friendly stuff. I cried a lot, though.
You did, yes.
It is, obviously it's bittersweet, and in order for animals to be saved, they have to leave their home and each other. So it was emotional for me, but I really liked the movie.
Good. I thought you might have.
Yes. So you can find it on Disney Plus. I think it's worth the watch. It's $6.99 a month, and even cheaper if you pay for a year. So with the amount of movies, and certainly if you like this movie, you're going to find some other similar themes on Disney Plus. Not only have they done a remake of Dumbo with Danny DeVito. If you love the Danny DeVito in a circus with elephants thing, you can follow through. Also a really cool documentary called Elephant, with baby elephants. And that really made me realize how good the CG was in this movie, because these guys look great, the animals.
Yeah, they do. They look good and they're expressive, which is why we assume that it is all CG.
Yeah, you really get in there. Yeah. So it was a really nice little story, and I think it will be a welcome family viewing.
I agree.
Good. Well, that's something you can check out this weekend. Thanks for watching, everyone. Bye.
Bye.